Welcome, everyone. We're just making sure that our Zoom friends are with us.
We're good.
We're good. Okay, amazing. Great, there we go. So we're just going to take a moment because I'm just noticing we have 40 people in the waiting room and they're going to come in now. They're coming in. So let's take a moment and wave hello to our friends on Zoom. We're so glad you're here. Where are they? They're people all over the country, actually, is where they are. So we are celebrating and we are welcoming in. We are welcoming each other in. We're welcoming Shabbat. We're welcoming new members who gathered together today to meet each other and share some food. We're welcoming a team from First Universalist. Welcome, welcome friends from First U. We're so happy you're here. And we're welcoming in our Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee, and especially we are welcoming beloveds, the Pinto Hernandez family. Welcome to you, welcome back to Shir Tikva. Bienvenidos, estamos tan felices tenerles aquí. Bienvenidos a su hogar. That's amazing. So I'm going to invite up Dara, who is our chair of our Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee, to offer a few words of welcome as we come into Refugee and Immigrant Justice Shabbat. Hey.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
So tonight's Shabbat is part of the 6th annual Refugee Shabbat, where Shir Tikva gets to join congregations around the world in centering human dignity. To connect this directly to our community, the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee is both offering Kavanot and hosting tonight's Oneg. So please join us afterward for a nosh. The year is young, but our committee's already been very active. In November, the committee hosted an incredible event with experts from around the Twin Cities, helping us understand more about the immigration and refugee system in the U.S. and how much more we need to do to both welcome others and help others feel safe. In December, we organized a winter clothing drive, collecting more than 120 items for new immigrant families in our community. And in January, we created 18 hygiene kits, working with a number of our students, full of necessities for people rebuilding their lives in this new community. Many thanks to you, the Shir Tikva community, for contributing your time and items to these efforts. And I also want to thank the committee members who have both been here since we hosted our very first person at Shir Tikva and have been around to kind of see the evolution and continue to do this important work. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you for Oneg after.
Good Shabbos. So to help us welcome Shabbat, we're going to invite new members to our community to come join us here on the Bima or to rise where you are. But please, preferable to come on the Bima if that's feeling possible, so we can feel and welcome you fully. So come on up. The blessings are found on page 2. Yeah, go ahead, baby. Go. No, I'm going to stand right here. You see right here? Come on up. Phew.
I know what I do.
Yeah, that sounds good. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. So it's my honor to get to bless you on behalf of the community of which you are a part. And I get to say these words every time we do a new member Shabbat, and it means something different. It's actually kind of incredible. It's like what it means to read Torah every year, but to meet the stories in a different place because we're new. I feel like each time I say this blessing, it feels different because of who is here, who is joining, who is choosing in the moment that we're in.
I want to see the Zoom friends.
Come see the Zoom friends, they're right here. And also, I guess, as my back is to the camera, I also want to acknowledge our beloved new members that are on Zoom joining us tonight as well. So to you who have joined Shir Tikva in the last months and are here to help us welcome Shabbat, welcome. Thank you for counting yourselves in. Thank you for bringing your wisdom, your talents, your heartache, your yearning to this community. I'm going to invite you to look around for a moment to see the folks who came up to light candles, and also to see this wider community, which is just a fractal of Big Shir Tikva. May this community be a home for you for many years to come. May you experience uplift in times of joy and robust and heartfelt support in moments of challenge. May we keep counting on each other, learning from each other, and deepening with each other. So on behalf of the community, welcome. I cannot wait to get to know what Shir Tikva becomes through your presence and through your commitment. It's a true gift. Welcome. I just want to invite us all, if we want to hold our hands out. What is the right choreography for this? Yeah. And if you want to hold your hands out too, it's like some big, awkward community hug. That feels good. A big, awkward community hug feels like the right way to start. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. So let's sing, everyone. We'll turn together to page 12. Lechu neranena l'Adonai nariya letzui yishenu nekadem afanav betoda bizmirot nariyalo lechu neranena l'Adonai
The whole way.
nariya litzui yishenu nekadem afanav betoda bizmirot nariyalo ayalay yalalayo
Turning to page 13, number 4 online. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadas, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, yadadadada,
Shiru l'Adonai,
baruch shemo, basiru miyom,
לישועתו.
ירדדה ספר והגויים כבודו בכל העמים נפלאותיו.
כי גדול אדוני ומולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים.
ירדדה כי כל אלוהי המנהלים לאדוני שמיים עשה.
עוד והדר לפניו עוז ותפארת במקדשו.
ירדדה ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ ירם הים ולא לאור.
לא שדי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל הצניעה.
לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ.
ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו.
ירדדה 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 Last paragraph on page 17.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
If you find your way into the Shabbos feeling drained, exhausted, if this week has taken it out of you, the next words we'll sing are an opportunity to try and beg God, bringing down, drawing in all the strength we need to just keep on going. You'll find the words of Ana B'Koach, a song bringing down power, on your pink, purple, yellow, whatever color sheets, number 1. Ana B'Koach gedulat yemincha Tatir tzerura kabel rinat amcha saveinu tahareinu nora Ana B'Koach gedulat yemincha Tatir tzerura kabel rinat amcha sagveinu We'll welcome up from the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee a word of Torah from Pat Karasov.
And we're also inviting up Yasmin, I think.
Pat Karasov and Yasmin.
Shabbat Shalom. Tonight, as Jews around the world, on every Shabbat evening, we sing Lecha Dodi. We throw open the doors to the synagogue to welcome Shabbat.
Esta noche, como todos los viernes por la noche, cantamos Lecha Dodi, abriendo de par en par las puertas de la sinagoga para dar la bienvenida al Shabbat.
It is also a welcome to all present, whether family, friend, or stranger. On Inauguration Day in 2017, Shir Tikva welcomed strangers into our midst when it chose to become a sanctuary congregation.
Esta noche también damos la bienvenida a todos los presentes, ya sean familiares, amigos o extraños. El día de la inauguración de 2017, Shir Tikva decidió convertirse en una congregación santuario y dio la bienvenida a extraños entre nosotros.
For over 3 years, volunteer congregants and others housed, fed, and met the needs of an immigrant family of 7 within the walls of our building.
Durante más de 3 años, alojamos alimentos y cuidamos a una familia de 7 personas dentro de las paredes de nuestro edificio.
And while their future remains uncertain, tonight, on this highest Shabbat, we welcome our beloved sanctuary family back. Welcome.
Y aunque su futuro aún es incierto, esta noche, en nuestro highest Shabbat, damos la bienvenida a nuestra querida familia del santuario de regreso. Bienvenidos.
We welcome tonight Ronald, Lupe, Jasmine, Natalia, Jose, Isaac, Daniel, Annabelle, Zamara, Esli, and Adara Patricia. And a very grateful thanks to Jasmine, the oldest daughter, for helping me tonight as a translator.
Damos la bienvenida esta noche. I'm just saying the same thing. Esta noche. Damos la bienvenida esta noche a Ronald, Lupe, Jasmine, Natalia, José, Isaac, Daniel, Anabel, Xiomara, Esli y Adara Patricia. Y un agradecimiento, we don't say that.
These past few months, we've all seen and heard and maybe personally experienced the terror when one's family is threatened by one's own government, by another government, by terrorists, or by individuals filled with hate.
En estos últimos meses, todos hemos visto y oído, y tal vez experimentado personalmente, el terror cuando la familia de uno se ve amenazada por su propio gobierno, por otro gobierno, por terroristas, por individuos llenos de odio.
Immigrants and refugees, some by force, others by choice, risk everything for safety and a better future for their children, often leaving their generational homes and elderly and vulnerable relatives behind, leaving their familiar communities, their own houses of worship, and their own support networks.
Los inmigrantes y refugiados, algunos por la fuerza, otros por elección, arriesgan todo por la seguridad y un futuro mejor para sus hijos, a menudo dejando atrás sus hogares generacionales y parientes ancianos y vulnerables, dejando sus comunidades familiares, sus propios lugares de culto, sus propias redes de apoyo.
They embark on a perilous journey to the unknown, to a place where they do not know the language or culture. The Torah commands us to welcome these strangers.
Se embarcan en un peligroso viaje a los desconocidos, a un lugar donde no conocen el idioma ni la cultura. La Torah nos ordena dar la bienvenida al extraño.
Lachat Dodi, how can we further act on welcoming others? Simply offering our welcome is not enough.
Lejad Dodi, ¿cómo podemos seguir actuando para acoger a los demás? No basta con ofrecer nuestra bienvenida.
Every one of us has a talent, an expertise, and or meaningful experiences to share and to offer. You are encouraged to reach out to your own Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee to put action behind your welcome.
Cada uno de nosotros tiene un talento, una experiencias significativas que ofrecer. Comunícate con nuestros propios miembros del Comité de Justicia Social e Inmigrantes. Todos con esos botones para averiguar cómo puedes ayudar, cómo puedes poner en práctica tu bienvenida.
Our recent coat drive and hygiene kit project required time and effort from congregate volunteers just like you. Your kindness and empathy for those less fortunate can make a difference for immigrants and refugees, and the reward is far greater than the effort.
Nuestro recién proyecto de colecta de abrigos y kits de higiene requirido tiempo y esfuerzo de voluntarios congregantes como usted. Su amabilidad y empatía por lo menos afortunados pueden marcar la diferencia para inmigrantes y refugiados, y la recompensa es mucho mayor que el esfuerzo.
As we sing Lachad Odi tonight, I encourage you to contemplate your role in welcoming others, and please greet our beloved family at the Oneg.
Mientras cantamos Ligat Dodi esta noche, te animo a que completes tu papel en la acogida de los demás y, por favor, saluden a nuestra familia querida en el Oneg.
Shall we sing and say thank you, beautiful Kavana? Thank you so much. We'll turn to page 20. When we get to the last verse, we're invited, if you want, to stay in the room, or we'll go out the doorway onto 50th Street to greet Shabbat. Lecha Dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekavela Penei Shabbat nekavela Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad Hishmi'anu Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet, ve'litila, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekavela, penei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lekub elcha ki bekora beracha verosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat chila lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekavela Penei Shabbat nekavela Mikdash melech irucha Kumitei mitoch hafecha Rav sheret be'erachacha Chamol alayich chevla Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekavela Penei Shabbat nekavela Hitna
Techami, Ayai Beit Halachmi, Kovana Nafshi Elai, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat Nekabela, Pene Shabbat Nekabela, Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kia Orech Kumi Ori, Uri, Uri, Shira Beri, Kevoda Danayalaich Bigla, Lecha Dodi, Vikakala, Pene Shabbat Nekabela, Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Ay, 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 lechando, oh, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 penesha, 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 bad lechavela, ay, 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 lechando, dio, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 penesha, nekavela, lo tevoshi lo tikami, mati shali, umatehemi, vagesu hanyeyami, benita, iratila, ay, 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 lechadodiu, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekavela, ay, 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 lechadodiu, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekavela, vehayu sisas rosai, verachaku mevalahayich, Yasis Alai Elohai, Kimsos Chatan Al Chatan, ay, 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 lechado, oh, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekavela, ay, 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 lechado, oh, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekavela, Yaminu smoti frotzi ve'eta Donai tariti, ayadish ben partzi v'nismecha v'nagila ho, ay, 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 lecha dodi ho, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekabela, ay, 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 lechado, oh, ay, 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 likakala, ay, 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 Pene Shabbat nekabela, boi v'shalom ateret behala, besimcha uvesohala, toch emune am segula, boi kala, ay, 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 lechado dio, ay, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll take the next 4 minutes to greet each other in physical space, to greet each other in virtual space. We'll come back together in 4 minutes. Good Shabbos. Hi, 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 ya, ho, ho, ho. Hi, 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 ya, da, da, da. Hi, 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 yo. Hi, 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 ya, ha. Hi, 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 hi. Ho, ho, ho. Hi,
just a moment, we'll rise in body and spirit and call each other to prayer. Before we do so, we're just going to sing a nigun to help us gentle ourselves, soften, that when we rise and enter into the Mariv service, which is our time for personal prayer, our time for deepening, or for reflection, for releasing into Shabbat, we can do so maybe a little less braced, a little bit more ready. Yai la 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 la, yai la yai la yo, yai la la yai la yai yo, yai la la la, yai la yai la yo. Ay, 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 yo. Ay, 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 yo. Ay, 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 yo. Ay, la, 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 la. Ay, 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 yo. Ay, 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 yo. Please rise on page 28. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Yai la 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 la, ay 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 yo, ay ay la ay la oh, ay ay la ay ay yo. Ay, ay, lay, lay, ay, lay, oh.
We'll take a moment on page 30 to notice the darkness coming into the space and to bless a God that brings light and who allows darkness to be in our space. Take a minute to notice the light and the shadows around you. Taking a big breath in.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים.
On page 32, we bless a God that brings love into the world. I'll invite you to bring into your mind the image of someone who has shown you tremendous support or care over the last months. Taking a big breath in.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו והם נגי יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 34, rising if it is your tradition.
Shema Yisrael
page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We'll welcome up Andrea from the Immigration and Sanctuary Justice Committee to offer some more words of Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
The song we are about to sing connects beautifully to tonight's theme of immigrant justice. Mi Chamocha, Song of the Sea, Song of Joy, is from the book of Exodus. It was sung by the Israelites, themselves refugees and asylum seekers, as they safely crossed the Red Sea. The song thanks God for their redemption and celebrates their freedom after generations of slavery and oppression in Egypt. It declares, "Who is like you, O God?" Interestingly, it is also featured in Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholic, and other liturgies. No wonder, since the celebration of freedom is universal and the need continuing. It is noted for its archaic language. It was written in a style of Hebrew older than in other parts of Exodus, again suggesting its universality, this time reaching far into the past. This is the highest refugee Shabbat, reflecting how the past can become the present. Highest began about 100 years ago as the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, at first offering vital services to Jewish refugees, but it has grown over the years to serve people of diverse faiths, ethnicities, and backgrounds from over 20 countries, those who seek freedom from present-day oppression. One commentator, Leo Fuchs, has suggested that Mi Kamocha's lesson is that, quote, we are meant not just to be grateful that we are free, but also to think hard about what we will do with our freedom. Highesses in our own work can point the way. Mi Kamocha is a message of thanks that refugees among us have made it safely to our shores after enduring perilous journeys. And it is a message to us, we who have not had to flee oppression, at least I hope not, to celebrate, welcome, and seek justice for all refugees, exactly what we should be doing with our own freedom. After I prepared this, I learned about another commentary from my son. It was an episode of The Simpsons, and the Simpsons had found themselves as among the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. And after they crossed the Red Sea, Bart turned to Lisa and said, well, now that we've crossed the Red Sea, what happens next? And she pulled out a scroll and looked through it and said, okay, we wander in the desert for 40 years. And Bart said, well, good, that must mean that after that it's clear sailing for the Jews.
page 40.
Elim Adonai, mi kamocha, neder bakodesh, nora tehilot, osef eleh, nora tehilot, osef eleh, ma'alechutecha, ra'u banecha, bokeh lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam ha'ed. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ay la 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 ya la la la, ay la 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 ya la 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 la, alay alay oh, ay la la ya la 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 la, alay la 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 la, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We rise in body or spirit on page 44.
Oh, can we pray for peace first? For 42 for Hashki baby?
Oh gosh, I missed a prayer. Everyone sit down, sit down.
Urgent!
We sit in body or spirit as we pray for healing on page 42.
Oh my goodness. I am here for more sitting in body and spirit. Oh. We'll sing 3 lines from the top. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, ufros aleinu sukat, sukat, shelomecha, shalom, 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 shalom.
Rising in body or spirit. We move further into Shabbos on page 44. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בינינו ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat v'dorot ha'meritot. V'yom hashvihi shavat v'yinafash, shavat v'yinafash, shavat v'yinafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et hashavat la'asot et hashavat v'dorot ha'meritot. We move into our silent prayer, starting in song together on page 46. Adonai Sefat Tivta Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'aseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei teva.
We'll take this time now to pray for healing of body, healing of spirit, and we'll use the words that found on page 253. So, and we'll sing, and then I'll invite folks in the room and folks on Zoom who are already sharing names to offer names of people you're praying for, and then we'll seal in song. Mi sheberach avotenu Mekor haberacha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Tonight we're praying for. Sheberach imotenu Mekor haberacha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
One of these weeks I'll learn what height I am. Good Shabbos, everyone. As you've heard from Pat and Andrea and Jasmine, we find ourselves in a special Shabbos that Jewish communities across the country have devoted to learning and speaking about immigrant justice. Tonight, I want to share a history in 3 chapters covering 3,000 years about Jewish efforts to support ourselves and other refugee communities. We're in a particular moment of hardship in which cruelty towards immigrants has become a normal part of our political discourse. I hope that by spending some time in the story of our past, we might discern some lessons to stay strong, wise, and motivated in the face of this cruelty. Okay, chapter 1. Teresa Freeman, Adele's great-great-grandmother, did I get that right? Freiman, was known to steal toys from children. Teresa had fled Germany in 1931 and immediately fell deep into the work of philanthropic Jewish New York, supporting Jewish refugees. She was a fierce fundraiser. People said of Teresa that if you saw her walking on the street, it was cheaper to hail a cab and go somewhere far away than to risk running into her. She would almost certainly convince you to give as much as you could possibly manage to the cause of resettling Jewish immigrants. Adele's grandma Ruth knew to hide her toys when her grandma Teresa visited. Otherwise, Teresa would say to her sweetly, That stuffed lamb of yours, Ruth. It's so nice. It's so pretty. A little girl coming over from Europe. Don't you think that she might really enjoy that stuffed lamb? Ruth throughout the rest of her life, she died recently, would hold her toys very close to her. Teresa's tenacity brought stuffed lambs, cash, and homes to hundreds of people fleeing Europe during and after the Holocaust. Let's leave Teresa behind for a second and go back in time another 2,500 years to another moment of Jewish mass migration and to another wise and chutzpahdik elder. In this week's Torah portion, the Israelites have just escaped Egypt and are setting up their first camps in the wilderness near Midian. The action of our parsha starts with a visit from Yitro, Moses' father-in-law and a leader in the Midianite community. In one of the sweetest and most tender moments in Torah, Moses sees his father and he freaks out. He runs, he bows, and he kisses the man that provided him refuge when Moshe was a young man, running scared from his abusive home. Yitro sticks around for a while. He listens to his son-in-law and other Israelite stories of slavery, trauma, and escape. And he watches Moshe do his best to lead. Before Yitro heads back to his own people, he gives his son a piece of advice. It is impossible to go about leadership, to go about healing the wounds of displaced people alone. Moses he must find collaborators to develop leadership within his community. He needs to ask God for help and support. Leaving the sweet elder and good wisdom behind, we'll bounce back to Teresa for a moment. When we left her in the 1950s, Teresa was in the middle of raising funds to support Jewish refugees. Teresa was a part of a movement of American Jewish leaders with lived experience of pogroms and Holocausts who continued for the remainder of the 20th century to support the work of Jewish refugees and asylum seekers, including survivors of the Holocaust and Russians facing cultural erasure in the USSR to find new homes across the world. Many of Teresa's peers built up organizations like HIAS, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, to fuel this work. Our story resumes in the 20th century, in the early part of this millennium. In the new millennium, HIAS's board was made up of the last of Teresa's peers who were still living. The organization had helped the massive resettlement of Ethiopian Jews, and for the first time in centuries, there was no large Jewish population in danger seeking asylum. What I know about this next chapter comes comes from a lecture I heard from Rabbi Jenny Rosen, formerly the in-house rabbi at HIAS. Rabbi Rosen witnessed at HIAS this inflection point, when Teresa's comrades, who had been assisting Jewish refugees for 100 years, no longer had Jewish refugees to support. What followed was years of learning and reflection, with an older generation of Jewish refugees and philanthropists and a younger generation of Jewish immigrant activists, collaborating to discern how Jews could show up as Jews in support of justice. They came to a simple and profound conclusion. HIAS must serve not just Jewish refugees, but refugees regardless of religion or ethnicity. This shift has resulted in 2 decades of wild and powerful activism. HIAS was on the front lines of suing the Trump administration over the Muslim ban, building support in the Jewish community that would blossom into efforts like our own Immigrant and Sanctuary Justice Committee, all while continuing the bread and butter work of supporting the employment, housing, and basic needs of immigrants in this country. The organization came to articulate this shift in focus with the following statement: HIAS and the Jewish community must assist refugees, not because those refugees are Jewish, but because we are Jewish. Okay, end of history lesson. What do these stories offer us at a moment when both Republican and Democratic administrations have deeply underfunded efforts to welcome immigrants while criminalizing migration? How might we, Jews, show up in this moment? From Teresa, I think we learned that we must be both fierce and generous. From Yitro, we learned that we must build coalitions across culture. We must not go it alone, but learn from the deep benches of leadership within immigrant communities. From HIAS's recent history, we learn how to transform our history of suffering into a contemporary pursuit of justice. how to look beyond our own communal needs at the interconnectedness of all people seeking safety and liberation. It's only after Yitro, after our wise elders' intervention in Moshe's life, that Moshe and the Jewish people were ready to receive Torah at Sinai. As I look back at all of this, at this history, at the advocacy within our own community, I am filled with hope that we are moving towards a new revelation, towards new songs and strategies for a more just future. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with an opportunity to revel in blessing, to bless each other as community. You can find the words of our communal blessing on the back of your colorful sheets. Our blessing. Malach hago Eloti, Malach hago Eloti mikora, Yevarech et hanarim, vayikra vehem shemi. V'shem avotai, v'shem avotai, Avraham v'Yitzchak, v'yigdu la'rov, v'kerev ha'aretz. Yismechem Elohim k'Zara k'Rivka k'Rachel k'Leah k'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Yedidaya, yedidaya. Yadadaya, yadadaya, yadaya, yadaya, yaya, yadaya, yaya, yadadaya, yadadaya. May we remember our values in hard times. May we let our Jewish values always move us towards justice. May the lessons of our own experiences inspire our commitments to larger community. May we chutzpahically create a just and lasting peace in our lifetimes. May we be blessed with the energy to fight injustice and care for those in need. May we find unexpected and wonderful blessings waiting for all in days to come. May we support Palestinian refugees and stand against the violence that displaces them. May we each find our way towards justice movements and community activism. May we speak to the hurts we feel while keeping our eyes open and our voices loud for the love we receive. May we always remember that no person is illegal. May we have the courage and strength to resettle people who must leave their countries and keep fighting to make their home countries safe and prosperous enough to stay. May we still find peace to enjoy the world despite everything. May we continue to learn and be humble and generous. May we always recognize the melody of Mitzrayim, no matter who is singing it. Ken yehi ratzon, yedadaya, yadaya, yayo. Yedadaya, yadaya, yadaya, We'll begin to put a seal on our service on page 284, Rising in Body or Spirit. V'hashevota, v'hashevota, el levavecha, ki Adonai, hua Elohim, v'hashevota, o el levavecha, ki Shekhinah, Hi Elohim, v'nehemar, v'haya Adonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Folks can be seated. In a moment, we'll move towards Mourner's Kaddish, but with an acknowledgement that there are too many names to say of those that have died in Israel and in Gaza over the months and week. We've had a new tradition in our community to sing the words of Oseh Shalom as a stand-in for all the names that we cannot say. You'll find the words of Oseh Shalom on page 62 as we send all the effort and all the peace in our heart in the direction of the Middle East today. Oseh Shalom b'mrama, Yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. In a moment, I'll read a list of names of folks that have died in the last 30 days and a list of names of people that have died on the anniversary of this week in past years. If you hear the name of someone that you love and would like to share just a sentence or two of story, Rabbi Ariel has a microphone and we'll find you. We'd love to hear your stories. After I'm done reading, there will also be time for anyone who has folks to share that weren't on the list to bring those names forward as well. Tonight we're in the Shloshim, the first 30 days of the death since Jude Mollenhauer, grandmother of Sophie, and Judy Katz, mother of Jerry Katz and grandmother of Ravi and Charlie. We're in the Yartsites, the anniversary of the death of Charlotte Alter, Linda Alter's mother, Seymour and Elaine Bennis, grandparents of Dana, Steve Freshy, Ginny Levy's mother, Melvin, MJ Gilbert's father.
My father was a meticulous and detail-oriented person, a trait I did not inherit. As a child in the early 40s, he loved making rubber-powered model airplanes out of balsa wood and tissue paper. And when I was a kid, we found ourselves in a hobby shop for some reason, and he found one of these, and he was very specific about the kind they had to be. Not modeled after real airplanes, but designed for flight, because the flight dynamics are different in a smaller airplane. And we built several of them actually, and these were like wingspans of like 3 or 4 feet. And I'm not sure I ever saw my father happier than in those moments when, and these were like powered by yards of rubber bands. You would take a drill and they would just circle lazily overhead for minute after minute, and I never saw him so happy. Now, he loved to ask me to come downstairs to work on these planes together, and I did not enjoy this because working on a plane with my father meant sitting next to him at the workbench while he cut out all the tiny pieces of balsa wood and carefully glued the pieces of tissue paper and sprayed them so they would shrink. And I was not allowed to touch a thing because I would not do it right. And so I resisted it, and I did not enjoy it. And it is only in my old age that I understand that what he really just wanted was to hang out with me.
Dora Glazer, Fred's mother.
Well, yesterday was the 29th anniversary of my mother's death. In the last 2 years, I've become the sole possessor of the family archive, and I've been going over some of her diaries and her music. She sang with Paul Robeson in the 40s, and with Robert de Cormier in the 50s, and but she was and volunteered with the American Theater Wing. But I have a lot more detail now, and unfortunately, I have sole possession because my sister's in the memory care.
Ellen Harrison, Amy Michael's sister. Ruth Elaine Hartman, Maury Hartman's mother. Anna Higgs, Dan Higgs Matzner's grandmother. Jeanette Kalliser, Joey's mother. Jack Kelman, Mindy's grandfather. Richard Kleeman, Nancy's father. Jill Lazarus and Dick Swiler, Noah's parents. Paul Lipkin, Laura Lipkin's father. Jacqueline Mann, Tracy's mother. Bertha Bruch, Newberg, Elaine's mother. Mark Pear, Ivan Ludmer's father. Shannon Backer Peck, Lynn Ellis's niece. James Randy, Amy's husband. Gail Skelton, Becky Skelton's mother. Chaim Zitzner, Hector's father. Catherine Chipney, Renee's mother. Bertha Watchman, Susan's aunt. Barbara York, Kelly's mother. Eldon Al Youngs, Renee's father. Are there any other names folks would like to bring forward?
There were emergency services vehicles outside my neighbor's house today, and just before coming here, I found out that my next door neighbor had died by suicide today. I'd only interacted with her a handful of times, but she was always very sweet. And if you need help, ask for help. If you ever feel like no one cares, please know you are wrong.
Marat Silistra was a friend of my grandparents, and he died a year ago. He was kind of a curmudgeon in his family, but like he loved me, and we would have conversations and go on walks until he was like 90. I didn't get to see him much basically when like COVID happened, and then he had some memory loss. So in some ways he's been gone longer, but yeah, a year ago was the like funeral, and yeah, I miss him a lot.
He isn't sitting with me right now, but my fiance's grandfather, Paul Stanislaw, passed away last Tuesday. He was a very smart man before the decline. He taught English in Gujarat, India. He had 3 children, David's father, Jay, his aunt Sunita, and his uncle Roger. All of them love to cook. They're all very good at it, just as Paul was when he was alive. And we miss him very much.
We'll rise in body or spirit, saying the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yid kada v'yikada shemei rabbah be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute b'chaye chon uvyom echon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael bagala ubizman kari v'imru amen. Yehesh me Rabba Mevarach Leolam Olme Omaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shenei Dekucha Berechu Ela Minko Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechata Tamira Be'alma V'yimru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'elko Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom Imrama Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'elko Yisrael V'elko Yoshvei Tevel V'yimru Amen.
It's my pleasure to invite MJ Gilbert. You may be seated. We stand on principle, but you do not have to remain standing for announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. It is really nice to be in this space with you. Whatever you bring with you, whoever you are, whatever your opinions about things are, and we all have so many of them right now. Thank you for just coming and being in this room together. I'm MJ. At the end of the service, if you would do us a favor and take your prayer books, your Sidurim, back to that back table and separate out the sheets from them and put them in separate piles, that would be a mitzvah, a lovely thing for you to do for all of us. Mazel Tov to Shana Davis and Ian Cave, and on the birthday of Amira and Ben Gansky and Colleen Pulowski, on the birth of baby Solomon. Oi! And Mazal Tov to our new members. Thank you. Thank you for being part of and helping to build this beloved community. Thank you to everyone who made tonight possible, to our beloved rabbis, Rabbi Ariel and Rabbi Joey, to the members of the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice community. Psh, indeed. To Gordon, who makes things sound nice and keeps it all going on. To the Makom Minion, to David Bailey, to Julie Jacobs, and to Lori Sweet. Thank you to our Shomrim for making a sukkah of shalom around us so that we can do this, so that we can open these doors and dance in the street. And thank you to them, to the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice community for sponsoring the Oneg in honor of Hayas Refugee Shabbat. There is a lot going on at Shir Tikva, and the way to find out about it is by looking at the weekly e-news and at our now beautiful website. There are a couple of quick programmatic updates that are as follows. Next week's Shabbat will be a mask-required service. If that is not a good fit for you, you can participate in this incredibly vivid way via Zoom, and bless those of us in the room. A reminder that this community is here to support you and means it, so please reach out to the rabbis if you encounter any kind of life change. It doesn't have to be a bad life change, it can be a good life change. But it can't be a bad life change, so they can activate the Shir Tikva network of support and come and be around you. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
If I can also just say thank you to Jess. They're all outside, but Jess, to Reina, to Nicolina, who made this beautiful and very full night possible. And also welcome, we have a new staff person who is training, who is going to be here for every Friday night and Shabbat morning and when we have community gatherings, whose name is Eric. And he will know all about our facilities. So when you have questions like, where's the tissues? Or how do I get into the bathroom? Or what's going on? Eric will be a really good person to talk to during events. And so let's not all crowd him tonight because he's shadowing. But in the weeks to come, please look for Eric and say hi and welcome him to the community. It's really quite exciting. And there will be, please watch your e-news this coming Monday for a bunch of announcements of upcoming programming on Israel and Palestine. We're going to be having a number of community conversations beginning this Thursday and then the 18th and the 25th and on into March. So please be looking at this coming e-news for information about community conversations and chances to learn and connect together. So just staying tuned. Yeah.
We have one more word of announcement from Leah from the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice community to bring us up to speed on how we can get involved with this holy work.
Glasses. Okay. Thank you to Dara, Pat, Jasmine, and Andrea for your beautiful words during our service. Coming up, we will be participating in a national effort, April 1st through 5th, to advocate with our elected officials in support of immigrant justice. We can all do a lot as individuals and as a congregation, and we can do even more through public policy. So if you're interested in being part of that, please connect with me or one of the members of the Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee to find out how. We would love to have more members of our congregation join us in this effort. And finally, we plan to host some additional education events like film screenings, and we'd love to have you involved in the learning, giving, community building, and advocacy efforts with us. You can come chat with me during the Oneg. Many thanks to the members of our committee for sponsoring Oneg tonight.
And on the topic of the members of that committee, if we could invite those folks, Yasmin and the whole family, to come up to help us bless wine and challah for the end of our service. Tara, would you do the honor of holding the glass? Thank you guys so much. 3, 2, 1. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, barei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim. Kivarnu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta im kol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz petei avon. Feel free to tear some off, pass and take some. Sanctuary and Immigrant Justice Committee, thank you all so much for all you've done. And thank you all so much for returning to our community and gracing us here. We'll finish the service just transitioning into Oneg and an opportunity to schmooze and be together. Shabbat shalom, everyone.